Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. My guest this morning, starting off, we got Fred Nzako. He's a lawyer and development economist. Good morning to you, Fred.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Glad to be with you.
Which one is Uncle
Glad
Yori?
to be with you.
You don't come. Great to have you.
Thank you, sir.
But you know, I just thought I'd also take your perspective on. Go on the AGO, the new security outfit.
Ebube. AGO. The prestige of the lion. The prestige. The prestige of the tiger.
Now one more. Go one more time.
The prestige of the leopard.
There you go.
It's a generic name for those kings of the jungle.
You know, I would just say big cats, but some Igbos take exception to mixing them up. I think I was told that lion is
Odum.
Odum. There you go. Odum.
Yes, in Igbo liturgy, lion is Odum, and AGO is the tiger.
If not leopard. Are you sure?
AGO is the tiger.
Do we have tigers?
Yeah, we have tigers.
We have?
Yeah, why don't you?
In our forest?
Well, whether you are forest, do you have zoo anymore? So where will you have tigers?
We digress. I think we established it that it's not the lion, which is Odum.
Odum.
That's not the lion. No. So the debate is now between the tiger
and the leopard.
And I think it's the leopard. But
well, you prefer leopard because you have an Amoteku that is obviously a leopard.
There you go. And we're brothers in any case.
So we're
going to extend it.
So you can take your leopard, we take the tiger.
So tell me, seriously, what do you think about this very important action by the governors in the Southeast coming together and announcing on Sunday that we are also going to be floating, a vigilante outfit? I've sort of
security outfit.
Yes,
yes, because we've always had vigilante groups in every state, in every community. There are vigilantes. All right, made up of the locals, so working in tandem with the police.
Okay, so you think the difference should be noted between
vigilante and the security outfit? Yes, because this is supposed to be an extension of the vigilante, a coordination of the vigilante, and then stepping up the gap between the regular state police actors and then the informal state police actors in form of vigilante. So this one is more or less like a formal setup by the government to ensure that the state actors are not overwhelmed by the non-state actors.
Okay.
All right? Yes, are not overwhelmed by non-state actors.
We're talking about... So it's not as if the place is entirely lacking of security, but as you said, we must distinguish between non-state actors
and then state actors.
Okay.
That is very important.
Because we're talking about the ESN, the Eastern Security.
Well, we will go there, because it's not alone. There are similar bodies of its equivalent in other parts of the country.
Which are non-state actors.
Which are non-state actors.
And
these are non-state actors.
We were speaking to the Commissioner Declan the commissioner in, what state was it? I think it was Imo State.
Okay.
And he was saying that these are prohibited bodies. They're not known to law, not known to government. And so, please.
Well, he is trying to live in denial, with due respect to him. Whether they are known to law, what is the law, and who makes the law? The people make the law. And the law is meant for the people.
But the law has prescribed them.
The law that prescribed them is on its own being challenged as an illegal law. Yes, when a law becomes illegal, what makes a law is what is the support the law is getting. Whatever law that prescribes IPOB and its affiliates, ESN, and all those agencies, non-state actors, are laws that are being challenged as being illegal and illegitimate. Laws that were made out of improper assessment of the situation or improper understanding of the need for such non-state actors. So we'll go there. But in a nutshell, your first question was my reaction to this establishment of Ebube AGO. My immediate reaction is that it is long overdue.
Okay.
Long overdue and welcome. Very much required, very much necessary, very much needed. But the realities of its requirement, the realities of its needfulness has stared us very starkly in the face, because the level of insecurity in the Southeast today is unprecedented. Very, very unprecedented. And that insecurity is not only caused by internal collaborators, but more from external aggressors. And then the first law of nature is law of self-preservation. You must agree with me that the law of self-preservation does not know any other law. It is the supreme law because you must preserve yourself. That's the first law of nature. And if that is taken into recognition, that means that it is long overdue that the Obibago should have been established long time ago. Yeah. But it is never too late to the right path. Not like we say in the old parlance that it is better late than never. Yes.
Now, it's interesting, Fred, that you say this, it couldn't have happened sooner. Soon enough, that it should have happened yesterday.
Exactly.
There will even be those that will take the symbolism and say, I purposely adjusted to it should have happened years ago. Never mind yesterday. I hear you. And that is, on all fours with people I've spoken to, even up to yesterday, that, this is most welcome. It couldn't have come soon enough. But I noticed that when I was just checking social media for whatever that is worth, a lot of I would have expected that citizens in the Southeast would be delighted at the approach of this kind of a thing. But I was surprised to notice a sort of a sharp criticism from mainly Igbo-speaking names, Igbo names, on social media. Because I was, it was just, you can't call it research, but I was just going through what is the popular market, opinion, and I found criticism. Derision in some cases.
Yes.
These people are jokers. Now, what's that all about? Because it is a good thing if you take your destiny into your hands and you take your own security into your hands. Why is there so much distrust or disbelief among people who know the region better than most?
Okay, what you're saying is right. Right in the sense that people had expected this long time ago. And then when it didn't happen, the non-state actors took over through the ESN. And the non-state actors and the other vigilante organizations set up by various communities. There is no community in Igbo land, let me say in the Southeast, that I know that does not have one form of vigilante outfit or the other. And then what they try to do is that they try to collaborate with the police. And when government thought of community policing, the Southwesterners looked at the Amoteku option, which is equivalent of this Obibago. Of course, theirs was the right step in the right direction, applauded by everybody. And then there was that hue and cry among the Southeasterners that our governors should quickly latch in on the peer review. Because, what is governors forum all about? If I learn something good and I'll teach it to you, you don't need to invent the wheel, all right, to be able to run on it. Go ahead with what some other person has invented so that there will be this synergy, this collaboration, and ensure that the southern part of Nigeria is shielded from the external aggression that was imminent and that was fast coming and had even permeated with killings, rapings, all sorts of crimes. Now, when the governors didn't take that option, rather, they pandered with the police idea of the one they call community policing, which failed because in the process of community policing, the indigenous people were not involved. Not involved because community policing was more or less subservient to the existing Nigerian police structure, in which case you are looking at the commissioner of police, the area commander is from the north, the commissioner of police is from the north, some other person is there. The indigenous people were now estranged, and that more or less did not receive the blessing that he should ordinarily have received. When you call it community, what is the extent of the community input in that policing structure? So the people now felt this is not what we are asking for. So when the non-state actors established the ESN, he received wide jubilation and applause because the native people who needed to be protected were left unprotected, both by the institutionalized policing structure of Nigerian police force and the watery community policing that did not inculcate the community itself. That community in that was only an acronym. The real nitty-gritty of that policing did not inculcate the community itself, and it was more or less a paper structure because it was not funded. In fact, it was not established to thrive. It was dead on arrival, more or less. So the people felt disenchanted. And when the governors they elected and they looked up to, and they said, look, the Southwesterners are doing this. Key into that. Let's take care of ourselves. The South will key into that. Let Southern Nigeria be blocked from this external aggression. And then it will now cascade up, yes, not central, and then towards not up.
But nothing was done at the time.
Nothing was done at the time. The people now lost interest. By the time they now started doing this thing, they saw it as a Greek gift.
But remember
Greek
that
gift in quote, because they felt they were pandering to the whims and caprices of people outside the immediate environment of Southeast.
Well, that's one theory, and we were speaking with the commissioner, and I think the question was put to him yesterday, same Declan, commissioner in Imo State.
Yes.
And the question was, it looks like this action was precipitated by the attack in Owerri, and on the police command there, the correctional facility there, that if there hadn't been such a jolt, critics feel that the governors would still have been sitting on their hands, so to speak.
It is,
but Declan,
it is possible.
But Declan discountenanced that. He said it was just a coincidence.
It is possible. It's also possible that it's a coincidence, but the fact remains that this is a welcome development, and the governors are expected to push this thing through.
Yeah,
give it legislative backing, not just the people. The people will support it when they see the actions of those in authority.
Okay,
because
when you see a seriousness of purpose,
different
from the last time,
the lackadaisical attitude of paper creation.
Sorry to be jumping in like this.
Yes.
Do you think that this time the lack of sufficiently wide consultation that you spoke about in the previous effort regarding community policing, that was corrected with this Ebuago? Because I'm still wondering at the critical voices.
Consultation is a continuous process.
Okay.
Those who had not been consulted before the creation will still be consulted. In this case, the consultation will take the form of explanation, and then you lay it bare and get their input, and then make up the structure to be very firm and strong. The whole bottom line of the whole thing is that let the people be protected. You saw what happened in Ebonyi State initially, where 25 people were killed in cold blood, all right? And then the governor, Dave Umahi, was crying blue mother because he didn't expect such thing to happen to his people, despite all the efforts he, as a governor, has been making to bring unity between the natives and the visitors who were residing in their domain. Just last night or 2 nights ago, there was another attack again in Ebonyi State. Now, there was this terrible attack in Imo State, where correctional prison facility was affected, the police headquarters affected, and the rest of them. Isn't it enough for government to come out and say, this have been apprehended for so and so crime? Is enough? Isn't it enough for governors to have been jolted, for the security agencies to have been jolted enough to think of what to do? So if there is a coincidence that the happening in Imo State jolted the governors into action, something must make a man to act.
Okay.
If that is what made them to act, so be it. If they were thinking of acting before that one happened and it becomes a mere coincidence, so be it. What is important is that every necessary, legal, legitimate step to protect the people must not be allowed to waste. Okay. People must be protected.
Reverend Dominic has called in from Alimosho. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Yori.
Thank you for calling.
Good morning to you. There.
Fred Nziako.
Morning, Reverend.
Okay, can I go on?
Please go on, sir.
Okay, Yori, the issue of Southeast and the Bubago and the acceptance you're talking about is about trust and bad governance. Let me tell you how bad it has become. If you put all the 5 state governors of Southeast one side on election for a referendum now, and put the Nnamdi Kanu one side, you know Nnamdi Kanu will win that election against the 5 state governors in Southeast because of bad governance, because of the put their eyes off from the killings of the Igbos, whether it's in the Southeast or outside Southeast. The way they are mounting wealth in midst of poverty in the Southeast. So this is why didn't have to carry so God. I call it because it doesn't make sense to me. We have more popularity in the Southeast than the governors of Southeast. Number 2, whether you call it a Bubago or not, the way we run politics in Southeast, remember, this happened in my own state, in my own capital, Owerri. When the governors of the South is run their politics, they may use it against themselves, not for the purpose of what the country is built. We saw how Bakassi was made up, and Bakassi was become a tool of distortion, even though they were in Aba then to protect projects in Aba. But politicians, Carlos, the former governor of Edo State, who was convicted and let loose, used it against his enemies and used it as political tools. And we argue we see turn that because we don't have the kind of governance and the sensibility of people of Edo State, leadership for their people like the Southwest governors. I want to be a Southwestern indigenous. The way the government in Southwest, no matter how bad it is, these people in the Southwest here put their people in there than any other thing. Look at what happened in Ondo. Look at what is happening in Lagos here. Look at what's happening in Osho. But you cannot see it happen in the Southeast. Which means as long as you put the security outfit that have no trust of the people, because Nigeria police today, which has become a species of distortion because of trust. All I'm trying to be to them to find a way to have good governance.
Okay.
Good governance. Let people buy to their own, projects. But there's no project going in the crisis of Eastern State because of bad governance. With that, these boys who are talking about Biafra have no popularity. These boys who is on the side of IPOP, which we are not part of, no Igbo teaching, some Igbo man, no Igbo man that has stake in Nigeria that supports IPOP or the Biafra.
Okay.
Because it has popularity among the downtrodden. And what is happening today is happening, which is unfortunate.
Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. Appreciate your call. And, his comments remind me of something that also came up yesterday with two other guests that we had on this same subject, Dr. Chimanaji and the other gentleman, Barrister, Onyeka Ubani.
Okay.
I had those gentlemen yesterday. They also went along the lines that, look, at the end of the day, the real security is going to be the provision of good governance. Look at the root causes of the almost breakdown in security that is going on there. And until that is addressed, you can do whatever you want, we will still have a challenge. And that seems to be what Dominic is also saying.
The grass is always green on the other side. Dominic is here, and he says there's no governance in the Southeast. I don't agree with him. There is bad governance all across the Federation. Across Nigeria, from Lagos to Sokoto, from rivers from rivers to Borno.
Because it's not as if those in the Southwest don't have their own
with the center in Abuja being the seat of bad governance. I can tell you that every part of Nigeria requires good governance. And what is happening is not just because there's bad governance in one side and there's good governance in another side. There is urgent need for good governance, and that good governance will start with restructuring the system, because some of the things that are hampering good governance are embedded in our lopsided structure that we operate. That is part of the challenge that we have. So if we want good governance, part of that will mean not only from the leadership, but also from the followership. And then the laws need to be fine-tuned to ensure that those critical issues that affect good governance are taken away. That is what is important. So if establishing the Ebubago is as a result of bad governance, it is also because of bad governance that we established Amoteku. It's not because of that governance that you have the hijab. I mean, not hijab, what is
it wasn't bad governance.
No.
It was about enhancing security.
So what we're talking about is that to enhance security, there will be good governance. Good governance will bring employment and then ensure that those idle hands are engaged.
I can't delay Ada any longer. Good morning, Ada, and I apologize for holding on that one.
Hello.
Good morning, Ada. Good morning.
Good morning. That's from George. Good morning to your guest.
Thank you.
Morning.
What made me want to contribute today, even though it was the topic yesterday, is I want to chip in one or two things. There's nothing wrong with this regional outfit, like the Ebubago or whatever. My worry here is that let there be room for state police. Let them amend that constitution. So these regional outfits will work with the state police. Because if they are not allowed to bear arms, I've said it before, it will just be like sending them on a suicide squad. You understand? So because when you now have the state police, most of them are people from that place. So now this regional outfit, they will now be kind of community policing. They will now be, policing, rendering that duty of policing, because the policemen there are from that environment and they are used to them. That would be more effective. But unless we decentralize, there won't be any magic about all these things. And then the ungoverned spaces, we don't have enough food on the ground. We don't have enough boots on the ground, So there's so many ungoverned spaces, except those things are taken care of. And such police is one way of doing it,
Okay.
Now I'm so glad they have refused to politicize it now. Their eyes are now open. It's no longer a question of APC or PDP or ABGA or whatever now. They have now realized that they have to speak with one voice for them to govern that place. Even this agitation of Biafra, I'm not holding brief for them, but I tell you that those boys, because of them, they don't really want to break away. It's only a way of trying to say that we have been marginalized. Give us attention. But unfortunately for them, they were slammed and said they are terrorists. Okay. Anyway, all the same, let's not give up on Nigeria. God bless you.
Thank you very much for calling in, Ada. That's her perspective there. She was recommending state police. That is also going to be very, very helpful.
All these things that are being established is a way to sidetrack the provisions of the Constitution. Because the Constitution has refused to they have refused to amend the Constitution to allow for state policing structure. In the absence of state policing structure, there is only one Nigerian police force, according to the Constitution. But that Nigerian police force is inadequate to police the people. So what do? You set up vigilante. If it's not working, you set up regional outfit. All right? All these ones that I'm trying to remember the name of the one in Kano that have been chasing people that drink beer all around the place. All right? Is their own version of state police. There is state police in Lagos, right? But it does not go with the name state police. So you give it all manner of names. And that is why we are saying, let this be institutionalized officially, constitutionally.
But the difference is that the Ebubeago, Amotekun, they are concentrating on security from the point of view of reaching the parts that perhaps existent official channels cannot reach.
Yes, because
they're coming from within the community.
Coming from within the community.
And they're going to be working essentially with intelligence.
Essentially, 90% of their activities will be intelligence.
There you go.
Because they are not allowed to bear arms. And any organization that is in security that does not bear arms will rely on intelligence.
Exactly. So
there is need for that coordination between them and the arm-bearing force, which is the Nigerian police force. So when there is this lack of cooperation, then that becomes a problem.
Okay, let me hear from Chima. Chima has called in. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Yuri.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Please, I want to make a little contribution on this Bubago and the Eastern Security Network.
Well, Bubago essentially, but go on.
If Bubago must succeed, they must go and affiliate themselves with Eastern Security Network. Otherwise, they will not succeed because they are just meant to give that information. Who are they giving the information?
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm sure you are aware. You're talking about a prescribed organization.
If it is, whether it's prescribed or not, that is your own assessment.
It's the official assessment.
Our own point of view, sir.
It's the official assessment.
Sir?
It's the official position.
See, my position here is that yes, IPOM, the government says they prescribed it, that is them. It is for the law say yes, it is prescribed. What is the problem? Did they fight the government?
Okay.
Because they want to stay on their own. There is need for agitation.
Okay.
It's even in the Constitution.
So
what I'm saying is that this Bubago, the southeastern governors, as sort of, is almost as empty as no occupant. So it is into the southeastern place. No governor there. All those ones they're just like rubber stamps. They're not doing anything. Nobody is listening to them. They are only affiliated to the northern people. That is what nobody recognizes them in the southeast.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your opinion, and indeed for your contribution is really what I wanted to say. But there are a lot of opinions in there. You know,
many of them unfounded, many of them unverifiable.
Yeah,
you can't say there are no governors in the southeast. That is a sweeping. That's a sweeping generalization that stands no respect.
Yeah, but he also seems to be doubtful, and perhaps is representative of one of those
position about
out there that are a bit critical, you know, and even derisory in some cases.
Look, Yori, I sympathize with the governors. You know why I say so? They operate under very tight situation of our non-people's constitution.
Okay.
There's no reason or basis why there won't be state police. If we have police structure, these things will not be happening. These things will not be happening. So, but since we don't have it, they have to find a way to ensure that there's protection of lives and property of the people. We're not talking about ESN. These are non-state actors. Sunday Igboho of this world, they are the rest of them. We're not talking about them, right? These are non-state actors, but who are genuinely interested in protection of the lives and properties of their own people. So, how do you now convert them to bring legitimacy to their activities and then make sure that people are protected? So otherwise, the government would have failed.
I think that's the kind of thing that was said by the last caller, really, that, you know, it's going back to this whole wild consultation and keeping everything on the table and then seeing what we can keep.
But such consultation will have to go with sincerity. It has to go with sincerity, and not only sincerity, with the feeling and of the welfare of the people at heart, and not when you are consulting with the people with one eye, you're looking at Aso Rock with the other eye, and then taking orders from where you should not have taken orders. At the end of the day, you fail. One IG cannot sit there in Abuja and the police. That's why people are talking of ungoverned states. There's no place that is not ungoverned in Nigeria. Out of the 923,000 square kilometers that we have, every portion is owned by one person or one government or one organization or one institution. So what do you mean by ungoverned territory? There's no ungoverned territory. But because the hand of the IG cannot stretch and reach to certain places, those places are now seen as far-flung and ungoverned. Whereas these are places that should be governed and looked into and looked after by the community system via police, state policing or regional policing.
Okay, you know, we're going to sort of have to leave it there because you've said that, you know, at the end of the day, good governance is everything.
Of course.
You know, and you made a few other comments. I know that we're going to be hearing a lot more about it as the days go on. And because they know, I think everybody in Nigeria knows what to do. I mean, I'm talking of governments now, state governments. What with the Amotekun sort of template, people can then look at that. A lot of the work has been done. They can adjust that accordingly.
According to their environment.
According to their own environment and all of that.
With the bottom line, security and protection of lives and property of the people, which is the essence of government.
Indeed. Okay. Fred, you stay with us, please, because we're going to look at another aspect of you know, our life here. It was a governor that's also, you know, involved, but we're talking about the governor of Edo State now, Governor Baseki, and there was this statement that he put out, you know, that would have shocked most people. I mean, we know from O-level economics that you can't print money. As tempting as the idea is, you can't go ahead and print money. Well, Governor Baseki is saying that Nigeria did precisely that to the tune of 60 billion. 60 billion naira. Hang on, 60 billion naira. Well, perhaps more interestingly, the CBN has finally, you know, commented and said that, quite frankly, it's not aware of any such, you know, activity. Because you're also into development economics and all of that, you must have an opinion about this. When you, first of all, the announcement of Governor Baseki, and then the response of, which was not immediate, it wasn't within 24 hours, the Minister of Finance never spoke, nobody spoke. Give me your impression.
Well, it took 3 days or thereabouts before we could hear anything from government. And then that meant.
And by the way, can I just say, sorry, Fred, can I just say that we also have, you know, on this segment, we'll be joined by Mr. Oladotun Mabinori, who is also an economist, and if we're lucky, we'll also be able to get our friend Mukhtar Mohammed, who's a stockbroker and financial analyst. Yeah. So, good morning to you, Dotun.
Good morning, sir. Good to be here once again.
Great.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for making the time for us. I'm going to come straight to you. Let me just get Fred's conclusion.
Yes. It took 3 days, thereabout, for government to react, and it was not expected. What it now meant is that government seems to have been shot, hit below the belt, I mean, by the statement by Obaseki. But that's the truth of the situation, because what it means...
But government effectively denied it by CBN saying that it is totally unaware.
And our president gave an order to the IG sometime to go to Benue State, and then later Mr. President said he was not aware that the IG didn't go. So don't be surprised that CBN saying that they're not aware is not a successful and convincing rebuttal.
Oh dear.
That they are not aware.
Okay.
That is as far as I'm concerned, that is neither here nor there.
Okay. Let me put the same situation to Dr. Omar Binori. Dr. The statement, I don't want to call it an allegation, the statement made by Governor Obaseki and the response of the central bank days later that it was not aware of any printing of any 60 billion naira. Tell me how all of that grabbed you.
Okay. Thank you for having me once again, Kuyori, and my learned colleague in the studio there. Good morning, sir.
Mr. Zak.
Let me start by correcting an impression, correcting the impression that CBN prints money. CBN doesn't print money; they only issue money. We have a body in charge of printing money in Nigeria. That's the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Company, PLC. So CBN doesn't print money. They only
we know, but thank you for pointing that out. We do know that money is printed by the mint, but you can't take CBN out of that. That's
okay. All right. So if you go by that claim, in fact, it was so surprising. I mean, this is not the first time that the federal government will come out to refute. To attack a claim baselessly. We've had it on several occasions, even when the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, came out to attack CNN on Lekki massacre and what have you. But nothing was used to prove it. If truly what Obaseki as Governor Obaseki
wait a minute. With that example you went and made there, the Minister of Information, as you say, berating CNN. Well, later on CNN came around and denied and explained that it was changing its mind. So I just thought I'd slip that in, since you seem to put that in the context of governments, without really any reason.
No problem, sir. But we have seen instances where they will come out to claim that something is not right, and later we have they will come back to also eat their words. So at this juncture, it will be difficult to believe what CBN or federal government has said, that they didn't print 60 billion naira.
But is it difficult? Is it difficult to believe? Sorry, is it difficult? Is it equally difficult to believe what Governor Obaseki said?
It's also not difficult. That's how I was going. Aside being a politician, Governor Obaseki is also an economist and also an investment banker. So I feel he was talking from an informed decision angle. You can't just come out and make such a claim. So it's just a bit worrisome why CBN or federal government is denying it. There's actually nothing it's really bad about if CBN issuing money into the economy. The major thing is the purpose and then how it's been issued. It is done all over the world. In fact, many countries, even America and what have you, they do it. So why are they denying that? Why are they denying if it is true? That's my own worries. Why not just come over and say, okay, this is why they did it, and this is the purpose, and this is the essence, which is all we need to hear at this point. But now saying it is not true, with no claim, with no evidence to back it up, I think it's a bit worrisome. Then Governor Obaseki too, I think it would be good for him to go extra mile to prove this. But I don't think from the angle and from where it's coming from, I'm not seen as a politician here. I don't think we'll have made a false claim in that regard. Then printing 60 billion naira into the economy with no productive backup for it will automatically fuel inflation. That leads what we call too much money in the economy. Money induced inflation.
Exactly. Sorry, Doctor.
Activities.
Exactly.
Activities are low. It's not that we are just sitting a direct letter to inflation. Inflation the next 3 months or 6 months or 1 year will surely hit the roof. If truly what CBN has done, what Obaseki has claimed is true, it will be a disaster, as the case may be, as far as inflation is concerned. And we all know the implication of inflation on borrowers, on lenders, on fixed salary earners, even on the economy itself. You know, so many things need to be in place. And
I hear you, but you did confuse me a bit. I hear you, but you did confuse me a bit earlier on when you said there was nothing wrong, really, with printing money, that, you know, countries do it around the world, but then you came around to why it is news, because of that could actually trigger an inflationary spiral and all of that. But, yeah, we'll come back to you. Because
yes,
that was...
I said that, sir.
Sorry.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Let me quickly clear the hair on that. I said if money is backed up with productive activities, there's no problem in issuing additional funding to the economy. But when it is
with that clause in front of it,
to be shared by state and federal government, then inflation is already at the door.
Thank you. Thank you very much for clarifying that, because that's the whole point of why this has become news. That, wait a minute, you can't print up money just like that for the reasons that Dr. has just explained. But it could, if it is done in secret, you know, this is part of the secrecy, underhandedness. It was embedded in Obaseki's disclosure. Otherwise, because as an economist, he knows it's not done. People might think that in fact, nobody, even every secondary school child, you know, with elementary economics, knows the reason why that's not a way out.
Well, Yuri, there's what we call volume of money in circulation in every economy. The volume of money in circulation is managed to have a balance between that volume and the productivity in the industry, so that it will not adversely affect the inflationary trend. But by the time you step up the productive capacity of the system and you increase the volume of money, you have destabilized that balance. And the immediate shock that you will see in that destabilization is inflation. It's pure and simple. And what Obaseki is saying is that government has borrowed so much. Even when you borrow from either external source or from internal source. The source from where you are borrowing it has already been backed by productivity. So when you now borrow, it is still to be able to show up and maintain that stability. That stability will be tilted when you just issue money without such level of productivity. That is the explanation. Now, Obaseki is saying that the CBN has issued money to the tune of 60 billion. He used the word print so that people will understand it. It's a layman language. People will understand it. After all, even the money in circulation is not even minted in Nigeria. It's minted abroad and brought in. Nigeria's security printing and minting company that's supposed to be doing that has long been comatose in that regard. So that's a discussion for another day. So what has happened is that Obaseki is now alleging, or explaining, so to speak, that government has pushed in 60 billion naira into the system, not backed by productivity. So Nigerians must expect, by the time, even if CBN claim that they are not aware, check out Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, the release of information in the next 1-2 months, you will see it reflect. Inflationary trend would have gone up.
If indeed Governor Obaseki was right.
If indeed, and I can tell you, Yuri, that the propensity of Nigerians thinking is that he was right. Well, that is the propensity of the thought of medicine that he was right. Because government has borrowed so much. As we speak, we are in excess of 20 trillion naira debt. What is our budget? What is our GDP? What is our gross national product? What is our extent of our foreign earning? When we claim that we have about $36 billion foreign reserve, and then we are owing, our debt has hit between 22 and 23 trillion naira. By the time you now convert it, you see that the government is not doing well in terms of funds management. Now, it is said that most of these debts are borrowed to jumpstart the productive sector, the capital expenditure sector of government, and ensure that there is high level of productivity. But we are not seeing it on ground.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. Kesandu in Owerri. Good morning, sir.
Uncle Yuri, greet you, sir.
Morning, brother.
Morning, brother.
Good morning.
Uncle Yuri, please, am I permitted to speak on the Bubago issue?
Well, you are aware that we've shifted from there to here.
I'm aware.
Yeah, so please, I would like you to, if you can be very brief. Okay, go on. Be very brief.
Okay, please, because it affects me directly. You see, the problem we have in the Southeast is that our leaders have decided to be reactive instead of proactive. They came to where on Sunday to make a statement. Sounds interesting, but it's not impressive. You see, that Damote could have done a very wonderful job before now. Think if the Southeast didn't need this whole. But remember, I even complained about the issue that happened in the way that we needed this. But we would have brought the State Houses of Assembly, the speakers, we would have swung this all this way. Coming out to make this statement, we would have gotten templates on ground on how to do this. We would have even gotten the machineries on ground to do some of these things. But unfortunately, it just came to tell us in this announcement, probably to bring some of the people they can bring from the Southeast. But it's quite unfortunate that they cannot even bring people like us. We expected these people to get us a law. Some people are ready from the Southeast. We have sound lawyers ready to make this law and share to these assemblies. They would have been enacted. And once they bring it up to tell the people, we'll see that they've done something on the ground. You're coming to tell us just a Mubarak. It is quite interesting.
I did say be brief. Thank you very much. We'll just leave that comment there because
the executive pronouncements have been made. Yes. The legislative and lawmaking process will follow.
Indeed.
So, and administrative procedures, they will follow. I believe we'll get it right.
Okay. Now, back to Mr. Mabinori there, on if indeed, well, you've just heard, Fred in studio say that, because I had said that if Governor Obaseki is right, because he said it, I don't know that he provided concrete proof. And then government, well, CBN has responded that it is unaware. In short, its officialese for denying it is not true. That's the long and short of it. Now, if it were to indeed be true, that would be a scandal. What kind of a scandal, given how we are, and everybody is talking about governance and either the presence or lack thereof. So how big a scandal would it be, or would it just be no more than a blip?
I think if eventually we find out that this claim is true, it will be another major shortcoming of this present administration. And all these things have what they call, they have cast a domino effect on the economy. We saw just yesterday, or just yesterday, that Ghana, Twitter announced that their presence in Africa will be in Ghana. This is also not too far-fetched from what I think one of the aides to APC, I think Gaba, I can't pick its name again, said about Twitter, that when he was calling the Twitter boss, when he was calling out during the SARS era, that he should be arrested, he should be doing stuff, he should be done. And so all these things have ripple effect. Because we more or less were scaring investors out of the economy. If we later find that this thing is not true, this is actually, it is true that CBN prints money, it will, to a very large extent, reduce our foreign direct investment expectation in year 2020 and above. That means the government is not trustworthy. That means the economy is actually in bad shape, and that also means that Nigeria is in a very fiscal, what they call a fiscal cliff. Okay,
one moment, please. I got to interrupt you. I beg your pardon for doing so. Good morning, Mazi. Mazi Okerafo. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, I guess.
Yeah.
You see, what is annoying me most is that most of our governors,
which one? I hope you are talking. Are you talking about allegedly printing 60 billion naira?
I'm talking about the financial position of our economy.
Okay.
You see, the governor will come and borrow money for a purpose. For that very purpose, he will not judiciously use it. You ask yourself, what did he use the money for? That is why Nigerian economy is dingling. Now, look at our state universities. Some of them borrowed money that they are not doing for social projects. If you go there, you will not see those things. Now, you ask a collector of what many of them collected from the federal government and even from national organizations. They said they are using for it. At the end of the day, they are not. Look, because of no proper monitoring and no proper supervision, that is why all this money are being entered into the conduit path. At the end of the day, when the governor leaves office now, he creates a big burden for a state, accumulating debts upon debts. When the new government can say yes, it cannot pay workers' salary, He cannot do this. That using the money that he has to do. Now, if the government are trying to make it a point that each state go back to your own state, tap your natural resources, where you can have a cooperative advantage for your own country, your state to the effort. They will not go to borrow. Because when everything they run down to Abuja will just do give them part, they just come swallow some. If look, you collected money, you use 25% for your own personal and that's where you don't use the 25% for other people. That is the problem.
Oh.
But this one is this, all these debts they are collecting, you ask yourself, the money they borrow, what are they doing with this money?
Let's leave it there, Mazi. Let's leave it on that particular, that kind of a question. Thank you very much.
For the interest of our teaming viewers, who need to really understand the technicality behind this, when government has borrowed so much, it is debt that is hanging. When government finds it difficult to borrow, but still has requirement for money, that is what Obaseki is accusing federal government of having done.
Not bringing money out of productive
capacity. Not bringing money out of productive capacity, but just maintaining money. And what it will now happen is that not only that it will lead to inflation, it will lead to watering of the value, massive devaluation of the capacity of the naira. That is how failed financial system in every state starts. That's where you begin to talk about the Idi Amin era in Uganda. You talk about sometime when the Zimbabwean money was almost worthless. You talk about some other countries where their foreign currency is worthless.
That's on the very extreme.
And that is gradually, Obaseki is raising a red flag. Exactly. That if we don't take care of the situation, we will get there. What we expect is that government at all levels should shrink the expenditure pattern of government drastically for us not to get there. If not, we are on the march to becoming an Ugandan of Idi Amin.
Which is what governors
so nobody should come against for raising a red flag.
Except that central bank has said that red flag, you can raise it, but we are unaware of the reason for it being raised. In other words, they're denying.
Many Nigerians do not trust that statement by central bank.
Indeed. You know, Mr. Mabinori, just over to you now as we close on this particular matter. It's a very short one. Your closing thoughts on this. You have said that should this statement indeed subsequently be proven to be true, then it would, you know, it would have consequences for our perception, our trust with the authorities, right? Is that's the biggest danger of this?
Yes, sir. And then aside that, the such amount of money being pumped into the economy with no productive backup also distorts the equilibrium, just as our learned colleague there said, would distort the equilibrium of the economy. Because if you go by ISM analysis, for instance, there are two major sectors regulating the economy. The productive sector, otherwise called the real sector, where we have manufacturing of goods and services, then the monetary sector, where we have the banks and the SEC and the likes. So when money is pumped into the money sector, because printing that money out without backing it up in the real sector means the monetary sector will have more money in its hand, and there is no productive backup with it in the real sector. So the real sector is like maybe like at 100 at 50, then monetary sector is about 70. You realize that with too much money in the economy, chasing the few goods that have been produced, and this will lead to inflation, and inflation we know the biting effect of inflation on an economy. And as it is right now, sorry, just 1 minute, sir.
Well, I don't have that 1 minute, Doctor. I don't have that 1 minute. I said in closing, thank you very much for calling in. In fact, I'm going to try. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you, Olado Tumabinori, economist. Namdi, let me squeeze you in. Namdi called out of Abuja. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Go ahead, please. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Go on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go on, please.
Okay, please, can I make a contribution in regards to the Ebubago? Will I allow to be done to make
go ahead is the last comment, either way. Go ahead, but very quickly, please.
Okay. The reason why I'm calling is that what the government needs to do is, if at all there's a way to increase or recruit and build up the security in the Imo State, then I believe that this insecurity will come down. And the police affairs should recruit more people. Because I believe that we lack a number of police people in the state. We lack them. They should recruit more youth Let us close the lapses. And again, even civil defense that they did the recruitment since 2019. Please, you people should help us and also address all. Many applicants applied since 2019. Up to today, have not shortlisted the final list. Okay,
Nnamdi, I'm going to have to interrupt you, but I thank you very much for, making the call and contributing to the program. Nnamdi is going over ground there that I think we touched, on really, but he's saying existing institutions like the civil defense, they can be beefed up, yes, as a show of a sort of a seriousness of purpose, in addition to Edebeagu. For goodness sake, strengthen all those other institutions.
Absolutely, Yori. And two things need to be done in rounding up this.
Very, very, very.
Rounding up this. One, we need to ensure that productive hands are engaged.
Okay.
It will enhance the reduction of insecurity in the land.
And also enhance trust. Because
trust is important.
To ensure that productive hands are in. Don't turn it into something else.
Into something else.
For nepotism.
At all. For nepotism, okay, for witch hunting, okay, and for everything. The governors themselves who draw funds from security votes should use part of that fund to ensure that there is security in the system. And going forward, Yori, as long as we don't get it right with our policy structure, we will continue to go round and round in a circle. Let us get it right. Take away, devolve power. Take away some of those things that are hampering the state from development by the federal level, and ensure that there is power down to the people. That way, we'll get it better.
By better governance.
By better governance.
Well, thank you very much, Fred. Fred Nziako, lawyer and development economist, who was our guest this morning. I want to thank you very much, as we thank Oladotun Mabinori, economist. And if the very, very sharp ones would have noticed that I also mentioned Mukhtar Mohammed at the top, I said, if we were lucky, it didn't appear so today. So, but that brings us to the end of our program. And thank you very much for being with us. As we go, we keep on saying it, still the COVID-19 emergency. Do everything you can, please, to stay safe. You mask up, you socially distance, and you wash your hands frequently. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing, for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folari. Bye-bye for now.